Students, let's continue with the same chapter, that is the Master Artist, and let's start with the eighth para. Answering him from behind the curtains, Monsieur l'Abbe said, "It's coming along quite well. You know, at the age of 8, I was apprentice to the great Ambrogio Lorenzetti. I could never dishonor his name. He taught me the art of grinding pigment, laying plaster, sometimes slowly, sometimes faster. He taught me how to draw, and most importantly, not to hurry. Signor Bartoli, a masterpiece takes a while at least." So, Monsieur l'Abbe answered from behind the curtains, "It has progressed much, dear patron." Even Monsieur l'Abbe said that when he was 8 years old, he worked as an employee, or you can say worker, under the great Ambrogio Lorenzetti. And he said that I could never dishonor his name. He taught me the art of mincing. Mincing means crushing the pigment. Pigment means color. Okay, color. Even applying plaster, sometimes slowly and sometimes faster. He also taught me how to paint, and the most important thing was not in a hurry. The masterpiece will take time, he said to Bartoli. Ninth para. Reluctantly, Signor Bartoli withdrew. Signor Bartoli unwillingly moved away. 10th para. A month passed. "How is it coming along?" Signor Bartoli asked. Now, 1 month has passed. Signor Bartoli asked, "How much painting has progressed?" Or you can say, "How much you have painted?" Okay. Now, 11th para. "It's coming along nicely," said Monsieur l'Abbe, again from behind the curtain. Along with his words came a strange sound of swooshing, clanking, and slapping. "You know, you are fortunate that I am painting your portrait. Only bone fresco will need 4 coats of lime plaster. It's the best plaster process I ever saw. Signor Bartoli, it will last forever, but it's a time consuming endeavor." So Monsieur l'Abbe said from behind the curtains, "It's going good, it's going great." Or you can say, Monsieur l'Abbe said, "The portrait is coming nicely." And along with his words, a strange kind of sound of swooshing, clanking, and slapping came. He also said, "You know that you are very fortunate that I am painting your portrait. Only bone fresco." Dear students, bone fresco is a technique of painting in which a picture or portrait is painted on the wall or the ceiling, while the plaster while the plaster is still wet, so that the color mix with the plaster, so that the color can mix well in the plaster and become very fixed and dries. So he said that I am painting the bone fresco, okay, and it needs 4 coats of lime plaster, and it is the best plaster process. It will last forever, but it is time taking process, or you can say time taking work. 12th para. Sighing deeply, the patron withdrew again. Just how long would this take? Now, taking a deep breath, the patron withdrew, means move away, and asked, how long would this take, or how long would this process take? 13th para. Another 3-4 months passed, and finally half a year went by. One day, Senor Bartoli marched in, demanding to see his portrait. You must be finished by now, and today I will see it, he exclaimed, shaking with frustration. Now, another 3 to 4 months passed, and finally half a year passed by. One day, Senor Bartoli came in and asked, even you can say demanded, to see his portrait, and said that you must have finished my portrait by now, and today I want to see it. I will definitely see it. And this he said in a very anger. He said this in anger and frustration, because half a year passed by until now Labe didn't show him, and because of this he was very angry that half a year passed by until now his portrait did not finish. That's why he was very furious and angry. 14th para. Stepping out from behind the cloth, as though surprised by such anger, Monsieur Labe said calmly, that's fine, you needed only to request it. And he pulled aside the 20-foot tall curtain. Now Monsieur Labe came out from behind the curtain. After looking the anger of Bartoli, Labe said that it's okay, it's fine, you have to just request it. And he just pulled the curtain aside from the 20 feet tall wall. Okay, he removed the curtain. Now 15th para. Giuliano Bartoli stood for a minute. Then his mouth fell open, his eyes turned red, and he grabbed what few hair he had left on his head. He did a little hop and then a twitch, and his eyebrows twisted as though he was under a spell. Giuliano Bartoli obviously did not like his portrait, not a bit. Giuliano Bartoli was enraged. Now, Giuliano Bartoli was standing still for a minute. As he saw the portrait, he stood still for a minute. Then his mouth was open wide, and his eyes turned red. And whatever few hair was left on his head, he held those hair tightly. He hopped little and then jerked in anger, and his eyebrows twisted as if he was under some kind of magic spell. Bartoli, it seems that this sign shows that he did not like his portrait, not a bit. He was filled with fury, or you can say he was filled with anger. A 16th para. How absurd. Absurd means ridiculous. How absurd, how disgusting. What does this mean? You will not receive any money. Do you hear? None. You are not an artist. Maybe a thief or a madman. Get out of my sight. You will leave my house tonight, or I will have you thrown out. Now, how ridiculous, how horrible. What is this? After looking the portrait, Giuliano Bartoli became angry and he said, "What is this? How ridiculous, how horrible. What you have made, what this portrait means. You will not get any money for this horrible painting. You are surely not an artist. You surely may be a thief or a madman. That's why you have made such a portrait. Just go away from my sight. You have to leave my house tonight, else I will have to throw you out of my house." 17th para. So, what had Monsieur l'Abbé drawn that was so wrong? He couldn't see it. He had fussed and fixed for so long. It was his 20-foot tall masterpiece. He wasn't sorry that he had drawn to his heart content. His way, no matter what anybody could say. Perhaps his patron couldn't tolerate his cubist expression, but Pablo Picasso would have been proud of him. So, now the question arises, what had Monsieur l'Abbé drawn, which was so wrong that patron or Giuliano Bartoli did not like his portrait a bit? What was wrong in that? He couldn't see that? He took so long? Right? He took so long as he was preparing the masterpiece, and also by putting the best plaster ever. But l'Abbé wasn't sorry at all that he had drawn to his heart's satisfaction, that he has drawn the portrait in his own style or in his own way. No matter what anyone says, but patron couldn't tolerate, he did not like his portrait a bit. He did not like his cubist expression. Students, cubist expression means it is a style of 20th century art. It is called as a modern art, which uses geometric shape and was made by famous Pablo Picasso in early 20th century. So that's why the Bartoli didn't like his portrait a bit. Even though patron does not like it, But but the Pablo Picasso would have been very proud of Labe if he would have been at that in that century. If the Pablo Picasso would have been in that century, he would have been very proud of Labe. 18th para. If truth to be if truth be told, Monsieur Labe wasn't crazy. Not at all. He had simply been born 500 years too early. So, if we see, Monsieur Labe was not mad at all. He had been born 500 years too early. Okay, students, he was born 500 years too early. He should have born 500 years later, when Pablo Picasso would make that art, or you can say that cubist expression art, famous. Okay, students, I hope you would have understood this chapter. Thank you so much.